Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, the infamous FANG. So we follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So we're going to look on the daily Facebook. We're going to go back. Showed you this trend line the other day. I think it was yesterday. So that's the trend line we've been following. So we're above it at this point. We did confirm. We did go up on volume. But today's volume really sucked. And they just couldn't keep it going. I would have liked to seen one more follow-through day, maybe to the 135 area. But we're going to see if this is the end of the road. My thesis on this, they squeeze the shorts out, get the longs on, hype it up, upgrade it, whatever hell else they come out with to make a stock move up. And then next thing you know, you're a bag holder and the thing goes straight down in your face. If you're bullish, you need to get above 132. If you're bearish, you need to get below this line and then continue down. You need to crack this low bar here right around 126.61. But we'll wait for pattern. This is a daily chart, so each and every day gives us a different piece of the puzzle. We are following the weekly chart on Facebook. I want to see this close above this trend line and then next week close above the 131.98 or say 132 area. Then we'll possibly confirm. Then I want to see volume kick in and I want to see some follow through and this thing going up. If we don't get that, I still believe this one will be falling. On the monthly basis, you know, it really hasn't done much. Went up, pulled back, bullish consolidation, started popping. But now we've had a hell of a run. And after a hell of a run like this, you got to start thinking, okay, we have the 20 MA here starting to get stretched. This thing's just been up and away. It's only touched it on this flash crash back in August, that it needs to come back in. And this number where the 50 MA is right around 103. So let's, you know what, let's pull this out. We have this high, these pivots. So even if it pulled back to like this pivot in here, that wouldn't be too bad, a 108 area. But you got to watch these high flyers because eventually they just start coming in. Then there's no buyers, only sellers, and these things just start to tank. I know it's Facebook, part of the FANG, but at this point, if we go to the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, like I say in all my videos, if that starts to sell, it's over. We've had such light volume in the last couple of weeks or a couple months. So, you know, just something's coming up, and we're just right in that time frame. Everything's starting to come together for more selling, but just got to keep an eye on the SPY and see what happens and take it each and every day. Amazon. So that one was only down 42 cents today. Let's go to the daily. Daily, same thing. You know, we had this nice pop-up. I think they had upgrade, and they're selling cars now. They're doing this now. You know, we broke above the high. See how we retraced? They got it in, came back, went for it. Next day, they just gapped it up. Same thing like Facebook. See how we're starting to stall? Now we have an inside bar bearish pattern, but we're macro bullish. But again, we got to see and wait for pattern, see how this thing sets up. If it does start coming back in, if you're bullish, then you're looking at a close below this inside bar. If you're bearish, if you're bullish, you need to get above the 790.79 area. And I think this thing, it could possibly go to 800. But you know that everybody and their grandma's waiting at 800 to short this thing, so they might not push it up. So if you wanted to add something short down in here, you can do it. Just go maybe a quarter position, half position, and that's the most. If it goes to 800, 805, 810, add the rest of it and sit down and let this thing play out. So, you know, just another high flyer like Alta, you know, like Dollar General. But this tells a little bit more of the picture on the weekly. If you connect the highs there, we're right into this upper trend line. So it just needs more volume than this to start going through. Until the volume picks up, I just can't, I don't believe that this thing's going to go higher. So again, 800 maybe max, but we're at the even number of 790 right now. Actually, that was the high, 790.79. Today we closed at 784.06. So we're a couple bucks underneath that high. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And again, the monthly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months up. That's telling me we're right in the area that we could possibly start turning around and coming back in. When we get too far extended from the 20 MA on the monthly, which is at 578.70, that means this thing has to come back in. You're going to have support around 700. And then some other areas in here, the 607. But ultimately, wherever this 20 MA starts curling up, wherever that ends up, this thing should come in and tag this thing no problem. That's how it works. Let's look at Nflx. Everyone's favorite. So Up 51 cents, not too bad of a day while the markets were down, so it showed some strength, but it is coming off a bullish pattern. But inside bar bearish pattern, micro bullish pattern played out to the upside. But we talked about this resistance up in here. So far, so good. It's holding. We need to get above this red line or the 200 moving average. Then we still have big resistance right around the 101.44 area. Then ultimately double top at 104. Then you do have a gap fill up in here. You never know. If the markets catch a bid, this is where this one might be heading. But it first needs to get through all these areas of resistance, and then we'll talk. Weekly still inside bar bearish pattern. And we'll see where this thing closes at the tomorrow, actually Friday, and then we'll reevaluate this. If it does get above that 99.77 on a close, we still have the 618, the 50 MA, we still have this high pivot, and ultimately we have this high pivot at 110. So if you're bullish, we start heading towards this 110 area, you need to exit. If you're bearish and this thing starts coming to the bottom of this red inside bar, then you know what? We'll probably go 86.04, then ultimately 79.69. So upside though, gosh, you know, there's so much overhead resistance right here. I don't think it can get through it. And if it does, then we'll reevaluate and see if we can get more out of this thing. So if you're short, like I said, you need to get below the 20 MA. Then you recapture this trend line, and then I think you're heading down. And of course, it's a market trade too. If the SPY and everything else, SPY, IWM, Qs, the Dow start dumping, then that's what's going to happen. It's all going to start coming in. Let's go to the monthly. Monthly, great bearish inside bar pattern, still chopping around. Let's see if we could get below the 20 MA by the end of the month. Then we'll be talking on this chart that it's possible short to short this thing on a maybe a month or two basis, or depending on what you're looking for. But I think this one could be a great shorting opportunity. Just have to pick it at the right time. All right, it's been a long day, guys. Googl was down 5.15. They had a nice little pop last couple days, just like everything else, you know, hype and whatever. I don't even know why these things were moving up, but it was great. So we come back up here, we retrace to the bottom, or this little bottoming tail. We retrace almost to the top, and now it's starting to come in. And actually, this is a little more bearish because we went up, we had a doji, and then we closed below this doji. So that tells me price wants to go through the 20 and possibly then to retest this low. You got the 50 MA curling up, so you got some support there. But ultimately, if this cracks and goes through the 785 level, it's going to the 50 MA and then possibly the gap fill around here at 765.17. So again, it's just starting to give us something. So let's wait for pattern on this. We did write some calls though on this one, so we are sitting on calls. So far, so good, and we'll see if they play out. If this thing starts heading down, we'll take a couple dollar profit off the premium and say thank you very much, and on to the next one. But yeah, so that's the daily. Let's go to the weekly. We had I showed you the pattern before. We got above, we retraced down, we retraced back to the highs. Let's see where this thing closes tomorrow on a weekly basis. It will tell us a little bit more to see if this thing wants to go down. I'm still looking for a close above the high to see if this thing goes up. Okay, if you're bearish, you want it to close below the low of, actually, you just want it to close in here somewhere around the 795, 796, below 800. And then we can reevaluate next week on the daily chart. Monthly chart. Monthly, still have a little bit of a topping tail here. Not the best, not the worst, but it is. It's at the top. We have a little tail. And so we'll see if this thing can close above the topping tail here and on a monthly basis. So we still have a couple weeks left in this one. I don't think it's going to. We tried getting it. We tried it again. It's trying for the highs again. We'll see what this thing does on the monthly. But going back to the weekly, again, we went right back into these highs. It got rejected. It's coming back in. Tomorrow's close will be important on a couple of these stocks to see where they could be heading. All right, guys, that's the FANG. Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Netflix. And that's it. It's been a long day, a long week. One more day to go. And hopefully we get some action tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. It's John at StockBookie.com. God bless. See you on the charts.